Well, I think in late December, there was news stories about sort of a novel virus that was emerging from China.
Like many members, when I first heard it, I thought, oh, is this another virus? We've lived through SARS, we've lived through bird flu. I wonder what this is going to be, what the severity is going to be. Little did I know.
The World Health Organization says a mysterious new virus detected in the Chinese city of Wuhan is likely to be from the same family that produced the deadly SARS and MERS outbreaks.
Well, I think context here is really, really important. About the turn of the year, the Democrats were focused with a hate and a vitriol towards this president. They were focused on impeaching him through a critical period of time.
You know, we began to see sort of news clips that said this virus was beginning to spread around China. And I remember distinctly coming home one weekend and saying to my husband, did you realize they shut an entire, like 20 million people down from travel and in China because of the spread of this virus? That's where I remember first hearing about the spread of the virus.
In December and January, was the Congress focused on stopping the coronavirus pandemic? No. The Democrats were obsessed with impeachment, and that absorbed an enormous amount of time.
You know, hindsight is always 20/20. So you go back and you look at it and you build out this timeline. Before they left for Christmas, yes, they had to have this vote. So they vote on impeachment and then they sit on it. And they kept everybody waiting.
Pelosi facing growing scrutiny over her strategy to withhold sending the articles of impeachment to the Senate.
In the coming days, hundreds of millions of people will travel for the Lunar New Year celebrations, the biggest annual human mass migration on the planet.
Finally, the impeachment articles come over, and people are focused on that.
If you want to tell the story that we were doing all the right things as well as impeachment, the reality is we'd go into lunch at noon, and these impeachment things would go till midnight or 10 at night. And you weren't supposed to read while you were on the floor. You couldn't have your communication devices. So, in a sense, we were operating at half speed, if you will, half information because of the impeachment. If
you're watching the U.S. impeachment, you're not paying attention to what Dr. Liu and some of the others were saying.
And remember, in January, that's when China was actively lying about it. That's when the World Health Organization was parroting China's lies. And so they were claiming this was not capable of human-to-human transmission.
The virus has now been found in all but 2 provinces in China. The World Health Organization says it's not ready to declare a global emergency.
The one initial concern I always had, though, is we know from the past that China never accurately reports its healthcare problems. So if they say it's a little problem, it's a bigger problem. And if they say it's a big problem, it's a really big problem.
The Chinese government actively lied and covered up this outbreak. Back in December, you had a number of really heroic Chinese physicians, Chinese scientists, whistleblowers, who tried to draw attention to this right when the outbreak was starting. Tried to draw attention to it, and the Chinese Communist government, they arrested those whistleblowers, they put them in jail, they punished them, they threatened them, they ordered them to recant, to silence.
The Chinese whistleblower doctor who told the world about the coronavirus in Wuhan has died.
Wuhan police called him in, they reprimanded him, they made him sign an affidavit of sorts that suggested that he was willingly spreading rumors, and he kept quiet for a while, for a few weeks in fact.
You had the Chinese Communist Party that was fully aware of what was going on for 51 days before they said anything publicly. And they locked people in their apartments, they left them to die. They kept it a secret.
And when a virus starts in a country that is refusing to share information, it sets you back.
Dr. Thomas Inglesby is the CEO and director of the Center for Health Security at Johns Hopkins University. Is this people's worst fears? Is it a pandemic?
So it's not a pandemic. A pandemic is disease that's really spreading globally around the world.
The most long-lasting foreign policy consequence of this crisis, I believe, is going to be a fundamental reassessment of the United States' relationship with China.
China hid the extent of this epidemic from the rest of the world while it stocked up on crucial medical supplies.
What should have been a localized outbreak became a global pandemic. And that's one of the things that I think is incredibly important.